Good evening and welcome to Colten's Corner. Tonight my guest is Bill Macek, City Councilor. Good to have you back. Long time no see.
Thanks for the invitation.
Anytime. What's the new budget look like that's coming down the mayor presented? 100 and what odd million dollars?
It's up around 168, I think, up in that vicinity. I don't have the exact number. We're not done cutting. You know, the one thing people think the council can appropriate. We can't appropriate under normal procedures. There are some emergency measures that can be taken that I don't believe have been taken in decades, if ever, never in my terms on the council. But in general, the mayor appropriates, and after he's appropriated, sometimes we have to bless, in a sense, we have to approve the expenditure. And that's really what we're doing with the budget. You know, that we're going through the mayor's budget, and he spends a lot of time and effort, you know, meeting with all the department heads. He's the full-time administrator, and he discusses what their needs are. We also usually ask the department heads for what we call a wish list, and then sometimes at the end, we'll try to see if we can maybe get some of those wishes granted by the mayor. But once again, he appropriates, we go through, we can cut, we can't add, we can suggest. And the mayor and the council will usually work quite well together and usually accomplish quite a bit before it's over. We just started last night, and we usually start with some of the less dicey, I'll put, budgets, and the ones that come further down. The ones last night were pretty elementary. And so we...
What's the school committee's budget?
That's one of the ones that comes before us later in the process.
Later in the process.
Yeah.
So in other words, you just get the mishmash right now to start off with.
Well, you know, we started with some of the department
office.
heads, right? You know, city clerk, and we started with auditors, treasurers. You know, those budgets, they're pretty static. They don't change much, and there's not much additional need requested. So,
what about help?
There's always a request for help, but we're looking at, and we have been adding floaters and cross-trained floaters so that they can get into different offices and not just be there in presence, but actually know the jobs that they're filling in for. So those are very important positions, and we have been adding those on pretty much an annual basis.
What about the fire department and the police department?
We haven't gotten to those budgets yet. The mayor does say that he's going to add to the full complement this year so that it will be fully staffed. At least he'll put those recruits in the pipeline. You have to also remember that you have to, one, find the police recruits and then get them into the academy, and it takes somewhere around a half a year before they come out the other end of the pipeline.
Right. But how many more is he talking about?
I think it's 5 this year that he's talking about.
5 more
holes that we
already?
need to fill. Now, the council did ask Tuesday night for him to consider, and a letter will be going out from President Mitchison requesting, this was from Councilor LePage who brought it up, and I also supported it, that we would like to see another person added to the complement so that we would add one more full-time position in the police department. That we don't know if the mayor will feel that we can afford to do that. We haven't had a response.
He's going to allocate 5 more. That'll give him into the 90s or close to the 100 mark, and you add one more on.
I don't think we're at 100. I think we're probably in the 90s if we're at full complement. I think it's around 94. But
I remember it used to be over 100.
I remember when I started on the council.
Right, it was over 100.
It was over 100. It had been cut
extensively
over the years. Right. But remember, the police also have technological advantages. And that's not to say that they don't have a tough job. That's not what I'm saying. But sometimes not having the amount of people is made up to a portion through technology and the cameras that have been installed throughout the city. That, you know, the officers could sit in their cars and click around and look at different areas of the city. You know, those are things that weren't available, you know, 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah, I understand that.
You know, so they have a lot of technology, you know, the computers in the cars, you know, just the whole framework. I can't even explain it, I'm sure, as well as a police officer could, or, you know, somebody else in the department. But, you know, technology has given them an assistance sometimes beyond having just people.
Right, but they still need the manpower.
You need both. You need
They
both.
need both. Has the police station roof been finally fixed?
Yes, I believe it has. From what
Really?
I understand, the proper repair was made, and I believe the leak.
The mold and all that?
The leak and the mold has been cleared, yes. That's the only way that they were going to do it. You know, it was done properly.
Are they able to go back and get the bond to sue the bonding
From what I
company?
understand, the company is out of business.
I realize that, but they had to post a bond by an insurance company for a series of years. If I remember correctly, that's what happened.
I think that station is, what, 16, 18 years old?
Yeah, but
I'm not aware of the bond being accessible. There could be something.
No,
that
it's just
the
a question.
solicitor's office is taking care of. I'm not, you know, unfortunately, we don't have everything pass our desk. You know, we sometimes, you know, hear of things or we're told things, but that's something that would actually not be something, it's not in the council's purview for what we normally handle or do. So it might be something that's going on. I know that we might ask that it be, you know, looked for and researched. I know we did. But on the other hand, we don't
I
get,
just
a lot
wondered
of times
if
we
you got
don't
an
get
answer
feedback.
to it.
A lot of times we don't get the feedback that, you know, from questions we raise. And maybe little fires we light, but we never find out how they're going.
Can't get a follow-up.
Not till the, well, if you know what, Stan, if everybody did a follow-up on top of a follow-up, there'd be no time to do the work. So we count on I always count when I ask somebody to do something, you know, until it's accomplished, I'll hear back. So it's like when we make a request to all the department heads, as the chair of Natural Resources and Public Property, whenever somebody wants to buy, say, a piece of land,
Right.
we just had a couple of those come in. It comes to my committee. Our administrative assistant sends out to every department head and says, what is your opinion of this particular sale, along with the information as to where it's located. And so we wait to hear back. And they get back to us, you know, they know that they get back, but we don't need to nudge them or say, how are you doing on that report back? So within a reasonable period of time, we hear back from all the department heads, and then we have the meeting and we move from there. But we don't micromanage. I think that's a better way of putting it.
I'm not saying micromanage. I'm just saying if you ask a question or you ask about a follow-up of a situation.
You know, Councilor Mitchison probably writes an average of 3 to 5 letters a week from requests that come through the council.
Right. The girl does, the secretary.
Well, you know, well, they work together on
Yeah,
it, but,
right.
you know, he doesn't personally write them, but we have an administrative assistant.
Right.
Barbara Arthur, who's excellent.
Yeah,
And
she does all the
Yeah, she
typing
does a
and
great
that.
job.
Right.
But those letters go out. Certain ones will get followed up on, but others are just things that the council
Routine.
has requested, asking somebody to look into something, you know, sending something to the mayor in support of a project or something that should be done, and they get done. You know, it's like when I call, or if I send an email to our DPW director, he sometimes will get back to me, but sometimes I know the job's just going to get done if I ask for something to be done, and he does that.
It's another department's got to be increased too.
Well, it's
Manpower.
been cut.
Yeah, I
you
said
know,
manpower,
but a lot
but-
of things are being outsourced now. So that
Is it cheaper to do outsourced?
sometimes, and when you do the full equation, you don't have the benefits that are annual, and you don't have the
Well, that's the
the
killer.
long-term pension that has to follow. So it can be. It can be cheaper, and it goes out to bid, and so you
I
know.
hope they're not taking the lowest all the time.
You know, that's a funny, you know, what was it? It was one of the first astronauts that said that he couldn't believe that he was in a spaceship, you know, going to the moon or going to outer space, and that it was built by the lowest bidders. So, anyway.
Well, you see what the lowest bid is bid to the police station, that's
Well,
what I'm saying.
You know, yeah, unfortunately that was bad. I mean, the whole roof didn't have to be changed, it was just a portion. You know, was it bad craftsmanship? Was it bad materials? Was it bad design? You know, there's a lot of people, I don't know the answer to that.
No, and I'm just saying,
But,
they
you know-
went back to, originally to fix it when the first complaints come in, after it was built, if I remember.
Oh, yeah, no, I
And
know.
it's supposed to have been taken care of then.
I wasn't on the council at that time, so I wasn't
Oh,
a
there was some
player
good-
in
I
that.
remember the old days.
Those were, you
1,
know,
2 o'clock in the morning, Kenny
well,
and I
yeah,
stood there
no,
with the cameras.
I remember those. I was on, you know, as you know, I was on the council for 2 periods. I was on for 8
Pekin
years.
and
8 years I was
Bauer
on with
and
George
Grillo
Duke and
and
Bauer. I
Rice.
was on with all those, and that's when, you know, when I run now, Stan, you know what I don't hear anymore that I used to hear back then when I would run my campaign? You're such a nice young man. I'm not hearing that anymore. I'm an old guy now, you know, but it's nice to have that experience, to have served during that time. I served when I was young for 8 years. I took 12 years off. It was great for me personally. It was my family, but I missed 12 years in the middle. I paid attention, but I wasn't actively involved. And then I've been back now for 12 years, and I just love serving my city.
No, you
I
do
love doing what I think is
job.
best for the city.
You
and
and
all is
LePage
well.
do a lot of researching.
Well, you got to do your homework.
I mean, I'm saying-
I agree with you. You know,
Yeah.
Colin does a lot of drilling down, gets the
Yeah.
background, and I do the same thing. You know, if you don't do your homework, you can't really make an informed decision.
But I mean, he really goes into it like, you know, I mean, I've seen him in City Hall here when I come in, and man, he's on top of it.
He's good. He's good.
Yeah.
So,
You know,
Yeah.
I call him the green boy.
but you know, every counselor has a different strong point.
I agree
And
with you.
I wouldn't say, I think we've got a good council, and I think we do a good job. So,
I'll admit to you, like Barrett, I was wrong.
I told you she was.
I admit to you, I'm apologizing in open airways.
A new counselor, and it was early on in her election, right after she was elected, and you were a little,
Well, she was.
But she's
she's come
an
a long
excellent
way.
counselor.
She does her homework,
She catches on
too.
quick, and she
Yeah.
does her homework. She does.
She goes to the
and she
events.
works at it. You know, she goes to meetings, committee meetings.
Yeah.
She's not even on the committee, but she goes to learn and to
Yeah.
you know, to understand, which
No.
is important. Which
She does a nice job.
She does.
She does.
She does.
I give her a lot of credit. One bad moment in life, so I'll admit I made a mistake. What can I say?
Well, you know what? Yeah,
Well,
you weren't saying she was no good. You just weren't sure she was of the
Good.
quality that you hoped she would be.
Well, right.
And she is. So.
She is, I admit it.
Yeah.
I'll be the first. What's the story with the fire department? That new engine ever coming in that they bought 2 years
Yeah,
ago?
they have to build it. It's a process. Yeah,
2
it takes
years.
time.
Are they going to get another rescue squad, or are they
We're,
going to fix that vehicle?
Well, that's being worked on, and I gotta give credit to Councilor McGonigal that he's the chair of public safety, and I know Mike is working hard. We're with him, but he's the one pretty much leading the charge.
Yeah, I know they took it out of down at Primrose Street. I haven't seen it around, and used to have it backed up. I don't know if they took it out and they're going to start.
Yeah.
They do need it desperately.
They should have it. They do need it. But I think that, you know, the one thing you have to understand is our budgets are built annually. We don't, unlike the federal government, we can't print money. So we
Well, they're
can,
printing us into
or borrow money like they do.
They do, yeah.
But either way, they do both. But, you know, we do okay, and I think that Haverhill is...
Now's the time
gets
to
a-
bond at
gets a-
2%.
Well, that's true too. But the mayor is cautious. We have our best bond rating, I think, in history, and we don't want to lose that.
He's always been that way. He's always there. Watch those nickels and dimes like anything.
He
does a hell of a job.
He does a great job.
Jim
You know,
does a good job.
He's tough,
He
but
is.
he has to be. You know, in his position, you know, he has to sometimes make some tough decisions. But so do we. So that's why we're going through the budget.
No, I understand. I'm just curious.
But we
that,
always try to do the best we can. I always look to do what I think is best for the city, for the people of the city.
Right.
You know, quality of life. So,
But
school department is somewhat isolated from the council, but we work also with the school department to.
well, they got a tough row ahead. They got big debit.
They do, but luckily this year, we're getting some good additional state money, both city side and for the school budget. So that's going to help allow the
Yeah, but they need.
the
They
budget
gotta.
to grow.
They gotta get some. They gotta go out there and get some vehicles. And buses. Really, I mean, transportation. You know, I don't understand why they don't work a deal like Whittier Tech did, and they lease buses.
Well, we lease our police cars.
Good deal, nothing wrong with
Yeah.
that. But I'm saying Whittier Tech went out and they leased their school buses, and they got I think it was a 5-year deal with the option they could buy them, and they do all the repairs. If something, God forbid, happens, the leasing company gives them another bus.
Yeah?
And they maintain them for 5 years. If the city wants to buy them or Whittier Tech wants to buy them, at the end of 5 years, they have the option. And it's a lot cheaper than.
I honestly don't know about school transportation.
No, but I'm
Again,
talking
I
about,
said not everything is in our
I'm
purview,
talking
but
equipment.
That's
and I'm
good.
just
I mean, that's a
talking
good
in
idea.
I'm talking general.
I
It's
would
the same
think
thing.
that, you know, that it's been reviewed for whatever reason, it hasn't been done, but maybe it's something that is coming
That's
down
the
the road.
same thing I believe that they finally listened on the police cars. The great idea was to lease them.
Yeah,
You know,
well, we've been doing that for a good 10, 12 years.
not really. I don't
Yeah,
think it's
no,
been,
I remember my first budget back, we were leasing police cars, and maybe even beyond that.
Really, I don't remember.
Yeah.
This thing is.
Yeah, I remember the meeting, you know, because we had, Mayor Ferrantini was a little bit resistant.
I'll have
And
to get Kenny. He's been to more meetings than all you councilors
Kenny is
together.
also, you know,
He's a encyclopedia.
a sponge and an encyclopedia of what's
Yeah.
going on, because he's been around for years.
Yeah,
And
he goes. He doesn't miss
He
him.
doesn't, no.
No, he's a
Great guy, great guy.
Yeah, he is a good guy.
He is.
But no, first I don't understand what they don't. On the new garage they're going to build up on Primrose Street, maintenance garage. Instead of taking the cash, why don't they bond for a big bond, pay the 2% now?
That's what I wanted to do,
Oh, you
because they're
really?
using the D'Alessandro money.
Yeah, I'm saying, but I'm
And
saying.
I was against that. I thought
Oh.
we should, I actually feel that it may not be illegally being spent, or, you know, but I think that it's morally incorrect
Yeah, the guy
to
left it
use
for
that
the
money
police
for the
and the fire
police and to use
department.
it for a maintenance. I also didn't support it being used to repair the roof at the police station. Do I want the roof repaired? Of course I do. Would I have supported a different type of expenditure for the roof? Yes, I would. But I just felt that money should have been pooled for a better use within
I don't see
within
why
the
you
police,
can't,
within
the
the police
bond,
department.
to buy a bond right now, and 20, you're going to be paying the same amount, 2% all the way down.
Save that question for when the mayor's here, because he's the one that's the bond expert. He's the one that meets with the bond council. He knows all the reasons why we're doing what we're doing. You know, so, you know, at times, Stanley, you got to trust.
I
that-
trust,
that
I'm
other
asking you as
people
a
also-
counselor, you're
Well,
a
no,
hawk up
I
there.
think that we're doing
I
we're
think
doing
you
what we
are
should be
doing a good job up there.
And
I'm
the
not
other thing,
arguing
you know,
that point.
we toss it around, and we don't always have unanimous votes, and sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, but what's most important is you're always there, you know, putting out what you believe is best, and if you can convince enough of your colleagues that
It's
you have the
fine.
right idea, that's wonderful, and if you can't, you know, you don't get upset about it, it's
But
not
Bill, I'm
personal.
just bringing them out to you. You're a counselor. I'm just throwing out ideas. I'm not saying I'm right. It's just, you know, I just look at it
We
down
wonder about all those things, and you know, if it isn't me, it's somebody else kind of questioning and drilling down.
I heard it a long time ago. That was maybe 2 years ago or a year and a half ago. I heard about someone mentioned it, and then that was the end of the conversation.
Well, it's probably because the answer was given, and
There was no answer given. It was
well,
just,
maybe it wasn't given publicly.
it was suggested.
Sometimes we hear, you know, we have conversations or we get letters back or something, and so maybe the answer was given.
I forget who was. Someone brought it up on the council, and they had
Yeah.
a brief little discussion. It was a great idea because you're paying cheap money, you know, for.
I agree with that. You know, right
know,
now,
and
you
you kept-
can borrow at a very low interest rate.
Right.
That won't be around forever.
That's for sure.
But it's one of the reasons, you know, I think that the people supported and why we were able to successfully get the Hunking School rebuilt.
Oh, Hunkin
You know,
School was, you know.
It was necessary, but
No doubt.
it made it affordable because the bonding is so, and also the state's chipping in, you know, 2/3 pretty
70%, I
much,
thought.
20, yeah, it's 66 to 70% in that
Percent.
vicinity.
That's
Cer-
they want to get that done by 2/16.
Yeah, and I think they will.
Oh, I don't think they'll get it done by 2/16. They got this, I go by it. They're working on it, but I don't.
You know how construction goes. All of a sudden, it just all comes together.
It's Harbor Place, as far as I'm concerned, you won't see that ready until 2/17.
I think there's parts of it, it won't be complete because there's phases in it. There's different
No,
things
I'm
going
talking
on.
about the first phase.
talking
and
about the first phase?
I'm talking about the garage. They got the eye doctor place, Ross, what's his name?
Well, that's for the housing.
No, that's the garage.
Under the Harbor Place, the corner building?
Yeah, where
Yeah,
the
but that's not
Woolworths
pub-
was, they gotta
right.
start putting
That's
that.
not public parking, though. That's just for tenants.
No, they're building for the Harbor Place to have parking.
I thought that it was only going to be permit parking.
No, it's the Harbor
You
Place.
think it's going to be individual, like I could go down and park there if I wanted to go to one of the restaurants or something?
Yeah,
Or go to HC Media?
yeah, they're going to have their parking spots.
They're going to have a
there.
beautiful spot down there.
Oh, yeah, if the deal goes through. That,
It's going to be like Times Square, I'm told. It's even going to have the rolling,
yeah, Frank
the
Novak brought that.
scrolling marquee.
Novak
outside.
brought that idea in and put it
That's
into the agreement.
That's fantastic.
It's great.
It is. It is.
They got to think of some way.
It's going to give that side of downtown a whole new feel.
If people want to advertise on it, the
And it's
money
going
will
to
go
bring
with
people
it.
down.
Yeah.
You know what's going into that building, and also the fact that we're going to have the UMass Lowell. 2 of the floors are going to be
Right. I don't know how many students they're going to bring in.
But it's going to still,
It'll
bring people
stimulate
downtown.
the economy
Right.
downtown.
They're going to come downtown, and while they're before class, after class, they may go shopping, they may go get a bite to eat. Those are all great things.
No, it'll be
Because one feeds off the
Yeah,
other.
it'll be a big boost.
Yeah.
But I know they're building the garage. It's supposed to be an underground garage to go
Well,
on.
I know one day they were putting pilings in. They
haven't really put any
They were
pilings
dropping
in.
them way. I heard they were banging them way into the ground.
There, they got a long way to go. I mean, I go by it every day. You can see it. I'll tell you what worries me is going over that bridge, the Bradford Bridge. Oh,
It's scheduled for repair.
yeah.
And our fire trucks won't go over it.
They can't.
We have weight limitations on it.
Yeah.
So-
The hook and ladder or the ladder got to go all the way
Yeah.
around and come up that way if there's
Right.
a fire. Unless they bring the hook and ladder up, and the old one that they bought, or the second one they bought, the old type, and they keep it up in Bradford, which they did have it for a
Right.
while up there,
Right.
which would be easy, because they've had a couple of fires up there that, but hey,
It's always a work in progress, Stan. You're always hopefully
I
moving
got news for
forward.
you.
But you're
I
never
was-
done. You're never done in life. You're never done.
No, you always come up with different things.
Right.
I mean, it took a lot of years to get rid of the Conti's Woolworth building.
I was a little kid last time I was in that building, and my mother and my aunt. And I remember going to the little food counter. It was pretty cool.
Conti had a 99-year lease
That was
with
not a lot of people realized that, but even though it was closed, it was still,
The
rent was still being paid.
Yeah.
And that's all.
He cared about it.
That's all the landlord cares about, is just the rent's being
Right.
paid. Woolco, the parent company, was
Yeah.
still in business.
And they're still paying him the rent.
Right.
They had a 99-year contract.
Yeah.
That's what he used to say when I
Right.
talked to him.
And there was a little of that up at Lowe's, but it wasn't anywhere near as long of a lease agreement, so that's why.
Well, that was a good move for Brooks Brothers to go into.
Oh, yeah.
That
yeah.
was-
Southwick.
Yeah, Southwick.
Yeah.
Well, I know it as
Yeah,
Brooks.
well, they make Brooks Brothers clothes, but we're
Well-
very fortunate. I think we're the
only ones,
one
yeah.
in the country that has that kind of suit making being done.
Yeah, but that was a good move. The mayor worked on that one pretty
He
hard.
did. He did.
What do you think of the marijuana? You think that's going to go in eventually or not?
I don't know. I think it's a jump ball at this point because there's still a lot of hoops and hurdles to go through and over. So there's still a process that needs to be completed, and we're not there yet. We did properly zone, as the city had to do, by state law and regulation. So we created the district where we thought it would best be suited.
I have a good question for you. Okay? Doctors are supposed to issue a prescription. Okay? Now, you and I both know people are going to be coming from Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, and so forth with prescriptions. How are they going to keep track of what doctor is legal and what doctor is not
Well,
legal?
what I'm told, their computer system will have a lot of detailed information, one about the doctors, the prescriptions, the individual, and I think it's going to get right down to photographs, and that the person who has the prescription will need to pick up in person. And there's going to be a lot of checks being done throughout the process with the distribution of medical marijuana. That's what I've been assured by the Mass Department of Public Health, that those pieces are in play and will be in play at the facility if it's ever, built and opened.
Well, does anybody know how the Salem one is doing?
I don't. I haven't heard any reports.
No, it's been very
Low-key,
quiet.
yeah.
Yeah, low-key.
I do know that last I heard, for a round number, there were only about 100 doctors in the state licensed. Now, I'm not sure if they're going to take out-of-state licenses. I hadn't heard that.
I'm asking the question
Yeah,
because
I think they're going to have, the doctors are going to need to be registered in Massachusetts.
in order to...
They're going to need to be in the Mass system.
Okay. Because I remember years ago, and in Danvers, as you came off Route 1, used to be the big hospital over there.
Yeah?
They had a section that was opened up where they gave
Medical marijuana?
not medical marijuana, the shots they gave you to get off of heroin and
Methadone.
Methadone. On certain days you went there, and it was all quiet, hush hush. And I don't know if they still do it or not, if they still get that clinic over there or
Well,
not.
we have one right up on the Plasto line. We have a methadone clinic.
Yeah, I know that
Yeah.
one. That just opened recently.
Well, it's been open a while now.
Yeah.
I'd say.
But the one in Dedham was a full force situation.
Oh, well, I can remember when I was on the council and the regulations were a little different, that we had, I believe, two attempts to get the council to approve mobile vans for methadone distribution, that they would pull into a parking lot in the city, and that it would be known that they would be there for a certain time period, say 7 to 9 in the morning or whatever, and distribute.
But that was
and
killed or something like that.
That wasn't a shot, though. That was a liquid drink.
Yeah, it was. I think they tried to.
We never passed it. At least
No,
the
it was
two times
tried
it came
in
before
one, I
me.
forget whether it was Peabody or somewhere along there, and then they killed it. The city council didn't.
Well,
kill
I
it.
know Haverhill didn't allow it
Yeah.
at the time either, but now, because there's a educational component that's included in the company that's up on the Haverhill-Plasto line, that gets them through the door, because when it's educational, just like a group home, for whatever the selected purpose is, it can come in as an educational facility, and educational facilities are not disallowed in the city. So because of that, they come in and they have to have an educational component, but they also can distribute the methadone.
Yeah.
Or they can, in the sense of a group
I'll
home.
tell you, they're never going to get rid of it. It's a terrible disease.
Well, yeah, it's really unfortunate. And that's why our police department has stepped up the.
They get a hell of a job. They're doing a nice
the
job.
gang, breaking up the gangs, arresting people. But it's a tough.
It's a never-ending
never-ending.
battle.
It is.
It's a never.
But I just want, I want to support the police in every way I possibly can as a city councilor. The police, the department we have, our chief, everybody is doing a great job. I'd like to get them some more, more money, more resources. And, the way I feel is we're not going to make our country never prone to that kind of substance abuse, but make the dealers not welcome in our city.
Well, that's the key
I mean, I
thing, I
represent
think.
Haverhill. It's my objective to, let them know, we may not stop you from being a dealer,
But
but
eventually we're going to catch up.
you're not welcome here, and if you come here, we're going to shut you down.
Yeah.
And we're going to catch up with
That's
you.
it.
That's the way it has to be.
But it's still a horrible disease.
It is. It's very unfortunate. And it's across all sectors, all ages.
Now it
all-
has. Now
Yeah,
it's
all,
worse now than
all
ever
professions.
before.
It's
Right.
not, you can't put a stereotype on it.
No,
Or
no.
an age.
No. Well, you look and see, all the 35, 40-year-old guys that are overdosing like
Yeah.
crazy. Kids too. It's
Yeah, the deaths that we have from it, it's because it's not good stuff. It's cut with stuff that isn't even good to
I got
put
2
in your
minutes to
body.
go, I think.
All right.
You running for re-election?
I have my
You want
papers.
to announce your candidacy?
I got 2 minutes. I got my papers out. I am going to be running for re-election. I love being an elected city official. I love constituent services and working in the best interest of my city. I'd like to continue. So hopefully I'll, again, have the support of the voters, and I look forward to continuing to do the best
I'll
job
let you go
I
to
can.
Colten's Corner to hold the
Colten's
signs.
Corner. I remember, you're the one that started that sign holding
started.
down on White's Corner, which
Right.
is Colten's Corner.
Colten's Corner.
It is. You brought that to Haverhill.
Everybody looked at me and crazy, never heard of it before in
Yeah,
their
now
lives.
we all have to do it.
Now they all have to do it.
That's
yeah.
true. It's true.
Everybody runs down there to do it.
Yeah.
Put out the signs and so
It's
on.
true, it's true.
Yeah. Now, I used to remember Maverick. Remember Maverick?
Yeah, Jimmy,
Jimmy
James C. Maverick.
He used to sit in a chair across the street from me
Yeah,
and hold up his cardboard sign. And the guy was a genius.
Maverick from Mayor. Matter of fact, it was on HCTV that he would always be on the night of the election, and he'd always sing.
Yeah.
Remember, he would always sing?
He was a genius,
And
though.
he was coming back.
Yeah, he
Yep.
was a genius. The guy was a brilliant guy.
Yeah,
Used to cost me money every time I came off on a Friday or a Saturday. He'd sit there and he'd be waiting. Yeah, okay, Jimmy, here you go. You know, great guy.
Yeah.
I also, you know who else I also miss? Red.
Red Slavitt.
Yeah.
Yeah, another friend of mine. He was a character.
He
but
was.
He was, he was a rare breed. He told
But he
stories.
knew that harbor.
He knew the river. He knew the harbor.
yeah.
He brought a lot of. He was our harbor master for years.
Yeah, for years.
And he knew what to do and how to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Timmy's over there, his
Yeah,
son.
he's a cut of Red. He's like a young Red in a lot of ways. He's
He'll never
got
be
a lot
like
of his
his father.
daddy.
He's not as shrewd as his father.
Well, he's maybe not quite exactly like his dad, but he's close. He's a good guy. Yeah.
His sister was. I used to work with his sister.
Yeah, I
Nick's.
knew the whole family. Good
Yeah,
family.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
family. He was. Was great. Those
Yeah.
were the good
Those
old
were the days. Yeah.
But
you know what? Don't forget, we're living in the good old days of tomorrow.
That's right.
So we should enjoy what we have today.
Yeah, it's all changing.
That's right.
The whole city's changing, the whole
Yeah.
structure, the whole people and so forth. Okay, Bill,
Great.
I thank you very
Thank
much
you,
for
Stan.
coming to
Always a
show.
pleasure to come in
I
and
wish you
chat.
all the luck in the world in the election. I
Thanks.
think you're going to move up.
Well, that'd be nice.
Okay?
All right.
Thanks for
Thank you.
watching Colton's Corner tonight, and have some good shows coming up for the summertime. Again, thanks.
Once again, thank you.